Yes, yes, yes. How are we doing? Hope you're good. Welcome to show 360, 360. So I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about moving on from other things. I'm going to share an experience with you. We'll talk about it, we'll reflect it, hopefully give you some thought processes for the day, make you think a little, which is what the whole point of these shows are, is to make you think a little bit more about your actions, your life, putting things into perspective, that type of stuff. So let's get on. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Boardman, and if you are coming through, please do hit the love heart button, and in the comments what I want you to write is, are you done with Christmas shopping? Have you done all of your Christmas shopping, or are you like me and you still got a few bits to get but you just don't know quite what to get and you're looking for that time to do it? Oh my god, it's stressful. And then please share this with someone that might need it. Tag them, share it, whatever you want to do. Alright, so yesterday I think I've been putting this off. Yesterday I went into my office. Now if you've been following me a while, you know I used to run operations from this tiny little attic like office. Mind you, it was decent size, but it was in the attic. And in 2017 we lived in our previous house. So our previous house was super tiny, 3-bedroom terraced house, and all of us were squeezed in there, right? And I used to try and build up an office in our dining room, and the house was so small, the desk and everything else around it would consume most of the dining room. And it was very stressful for everyone. And then obviously bringing another 2 girls into the world, it was very stressful. So I had to find a working space, and office space was so expensive and we weren't earning a lot of money. So we found this place. I found this place by chance, right, in 2017, and moved in September 2017. I think it was September 7th. And it was amazing. It was actually probably bigger than our lower level house. But it was a decent sized office. The problem was there was no heating and no aircon. So when it was cold, it was like a fridge or a freezer. And when it was hot, it was like a sauna. So sometimes I'd be sitting there with these skyline windows open, trying to get some air in, trying to get the fans on, and but it was really, really good. And when I moved in there, there was no man coach. There wasn't a man coach. The first book hadn't even come out. I didn't really have an audience of any sort, of any type. There was no Elite Brotherhood. There wasn't really anything. Just the early stages of what you see today, right? So I used to go down there and work all the time. Built up operations. It was really, really great, really, really great. And then Darcy came along last year, and I just really felt obliged to be home and work from home to help Gem out. She had another C-section. Excuse me, sorry. I had another C-section, so I really had to be around. And I just really enjoyed being at home and working from home, because, you know, we managed to move into our new home, which was a lot bigger than our last home. So there was space for an office and a desk and etc. And then I kind of come to the decision that this year, probably about 3 months ago, that it was time to move from the office. And I got into the office finally yesterday and started packing it all up. You know, you ever see those films where someone's been fired and they're walking out with their box out the office? It's kind of felt a bit like that. And I was packing up and I was going through everything, trying to get it all together so I'm out before Christmas. And I just couldn't help but feel an overwhelming feeling of, oh man, I feel like I'm taking a backward step here. Like I feel like this is a failure more than a win. And I think that's just kind of natural. You know, when you're packing up an office, it's like that scenario that I just mentioned being in the film. You kind of feel like, oh man, I've just been fired, all my business is just closed down, so I'm just clearing out my office to get on to whatever's next in life. And actually, I went for a coffee and some lunch afterwards just to do some work, and I did some reflection, and I texted my wife, and she sent a really great message back saying, don't look at it like that. Look at it as that office created the Man Coach. It was like where everything was created and born, and the fundamentals were created, right, for us to be able to get the house that we dream of, right? And now you're able to work from home and be at home with us. And I was like, it's funny how a little bit of perspective can change the way that you think, right? And it's still quite sad to leave it, because it's got so many great memories. But I just looked at it as it's evolution, right? We evolve and we grow. And like what Jem said, you know, you can't keep the office forever, and she was so right. And I kind of look at it as that. I get to work from home now in a decent sized room. I get to see Darcy like every 10 minutes when she comes and drives me mad. I get to talk to Jem. I get to do my work at home, in a home that we've worked like many years to build, to kind of be in. Do you know what I mean? So it is sad, but I think when we evolve as human beings, we leave things behind naturally, right? So I think many of you that follow me, or many of you that work with me, you're probably finding yourselves evolving. You know, you're moving through an era of your life where things are changing, where you're starting to notice that actually maybe you don't suit a particular group you've always been around. Like maybe there's a group that you always used to go drinking with. Maybe there's a group that used to make bad decisions. Maybe you were in a relationship that doesn't seem quite as solid as what you thought it was. Maybe you have changed your thoughts on the world. Maybe, you know, it's all these natural things that I think we question, and we ask ourselves, is it time to leave that behind? Is it time to move on? And we do go through an emotional cycle. There is an emotional cycle, because we feel like, I think change is quite scary. Change is something that we probably dread, you know, because it brings a huge amount of anxiety. I feel quite anxious leaving the office. I'm like, God, what if we need this office? What if we need an emergency place to stay? All these thoughts going through my head. What if I want to work? And I'm like, what I'm quite excited about is doing what I used to do when I very first started in business, is like spending a day in Costa, spending a day in Starbucks, spending a day in our local cafe, like just picking up my laptop, sticking it in the bag, and maybe going out for a few hours and doing some work somewhere. And that feels quite cool, you know. And eventually we want to build up a HQ, eventually, like where we invite people down for business meetings, for our business mastermind, or our elite squad, or we do an elite brotherhood meet, or something like that. So, you know, it's kind of closing one chapter and opening another chapter. And I think when you grow and you make your decisions, if you're watching this now, that's what this is about, right? Oh, fucking need a new light. And that's what it's about. That's what evolution is about. It's about reflecting on a past, a chapter, or something we've gone through, and the people that are in it, and the environments that were a part of that chapter, and evolving into something bigger and stronger, more exciting, fresher, newer. And that's part and parcel of life. And I think we must make sure, and like I did, and we must make sure that we speak to other people about it as well, because talking to Jem gave me another perspective, and it was a perspective that really made sense, you know. And there's a few key decisions that I have to make, I think, in my own mind. I would say there's about 2 or 3 key, I would say maybe life-changing decisions that we have to make over the next couple of years, as to the future of like me and the wife. It's like, do we want to stay living in the UK, or do we want to move abroad? Do I want to write another book, or am I happy with the 2? So there's lots and lots of different things in our lives that we think about, and we try to think about change. But we've got to weigh everything up. You know, there are emotions involved as well, and we have to understand. We have to understand that with evolution comes emotion, comes change, and we should embrace it. We should embrace it, right? It's part and parcel of life. It's part and parcel of life, and it will keep being like that until the day that we die. So, is it time to move on? Only you can decide that, right? Only you can decide that. But that's the whole beauty of life, is that we can make those changes. You can make those changes. Like, you can evolve, you can fit into a new dimension, you can get over a divorce, you can get over a job change, you can get over maybe losing a business. We can evolve into something else. You can do anything you want. Okay, and it's putting perspective on the whole situation. Anyway, I've rambled on. Have a great day. I'll see you Friday.